So good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to my home office. I know it's a very basic home office, but do appreciate it is a home office, or it's meant to be a home office. My actual real home office is actually based in the UK, but I think what that does for us is that gives us a real view of, with HP Anyware, the ability to work from anywhere. So what I'm going to be demonstrating today and talking you through is how do we take those typical users that are looking for high-end workstations, power-intensive applications, whether they be graphic-intense applications, whether they be media entertainment, CAD, AEC, they can't just take with them a big, powerful workstation anywhere. They can't have that in the office. They then can't take that home. It takes a lot of time and effort to do that. So what we do with HP Anyware is we allow users to connect from virtually any device back to virtually any workstation. And I think what's important to sort of talk about here is that workstation can be an HP workstation, and obviously that's the workstation that we prefer for you to be using. But it's not limited to just HP workstations. We can talk about cloud-based workstations. We can talk about physical workstations. We can also talk about virtualized workstations. So really, from any location, whether that be a PC, whether that be a Zero client, whether that be a thin client, connecting to virtually any workstation, virtually anywhere. And from an operating system point of view, we support, from a host perspective, we support Windows, Linux, and also Mac. And from a client perspective, again, we support Windows, Linux, Mac, and also tablet devices as well. So really, as I said, from anywhere to anywhere. So let's jump into the demo and talk about a few of the features we have in the product and hopefully show you in real life how it works. Now, obviously, we're going to be praying to the demo gods on this. So going to now share out my screen to you. So what we can see now on my screen here, on my desk in my home office, I've got my standard second screen. I've got my HP laptop to the left of me. And what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to connect through to a workstation. I'm not going to tell you where that workstation is. I'm going to see if there's any guesses. So on my desktop, I've got an HP Anyware client. Now I've got a choice. And these could be choices based on location. So I could be connecting to, for example, this could say London, it could say Oslo, it could be Stockholm, it could be India, it could be anywhere. This could be different office locations. So I'm just going to, for the sake of this particular demo right now, is I'm going to connect through to Zurich. So simply by clicking on here, I'm now going to put in, now what's happening now is I'm connecting through to our brokering layer, our management layer, and it's asking me for my credentials. And these are standard Active Directory credentials. However, we can also support multi-factor authentication as well. But for the simplicity, we're just going to put in our standard credentials. And I will say, and I know this is being talked about later by Jesse, but actually when I came here today, I literally plugged in my laptop into this monitor and got access to the keyboard and mouse on my desk, which I find really, really useful. I don't have to bring a keyboard with me or a mouse and work out, do I have to Bluetooth it, or I left my little dongle behind. It literally, it's all running through here, but I'm not going to steal Jesse's thunder. So now we're launching the session. So what we're doing now is we've opened into full screen. So we're now connecting through to the Z4 workstation that is residing in Zurich. Now, what's interesting from a technical point of view, what's actually happening, one is that the agent or the client sitting on my machine is telling the workstation in Zurich what this monitor is. And therefore, it's going to render that image based on the monitor that I'm connecting to in the workstation. What we're actually doing from a technical point of view as well is that all we're sending from the workstation to this machine is the pixels that are changing. So this initial image is now cached. So as I now do anything on the screen, the only pixels that will be sent across the internet to me will be the pixels that actually physically change on the screen. Those pixels, when they come over, are encrypted to AES 256 encryption. So no data is leaving the workstation. So from a security point of view, it's really secure, because even if somebody was able to even intercept the packets that are being sent and were to be able to de-encrypt military grade encryption, all they would see would be a pixel here and a pixel there. So while we're talking about pixels, what we also do from a technology point of view is we don't treat this screen as just one stream. Not for example when you're using H.264 as a codec where it's just streaming what's on the screen. We don't do that. What we do is we look at different parts of the screen and we look at the pixels and we determine if those pixels are video, whether they're graphics or whether they're text. Then we will encode those depending on what they are. So for example, when it comes to text and lines, we will always deliver those in a lossless format. So they will always be received purely lossless. And that's very important actually if people are sitting in front of their screen for a very long time. That means there's no blur, there's no text blur, which can reduce strain on the eyes and it improves comprehension when people are reading text. Then we look at the other pixels and determine whether they're video or whether they're graphics. And what we will do then is we will build what we refer to as build to a lossless image quality. So initially we'll deliver the image, but then depending on bandwidth available to us, we will then actually build up that image to a lossless image. So lossless image quality is very, very important when you're looking at certain aspects of media entertainment, whether it be color grading, whether you're looking from AEC, for example, when you're looking at lines and text again, when you're scanning in and you're looking at wireframes, you need those wireframes to be perfect. Really, really important. That's what we deliver with HP Anyware. So also, the important part here is when we've connected, when I've connected through to that remote workstation, what I haven't done is I haven't had to use a VPN. I have just literally connected directly through to it. Because what we also implement on the workstation side within the infrastructure is a security gateway. So there's no need for VPNs. So we can reduce the level of complexity for users connecting, reduce the level of cost involved because you don't need a VPN, but also improve security. Because as I said, the only thing moving from the workstation to here are pixels. No data is leaving the organization. So that's enough of the technical mumbo jumbo. Let's get on with actually seeing the product working. So what we're seeing here is full screen. I do have the option if I want to. I can still require, if I want to, I can change the view and I can just go down to I can leave full screen, and now what I've got here is just a box on my desktop, so I can interact with my normal desktop over here. So you can see me moving stuff around here. I can then interact with my workstation over here and move stuff over on the workstation over here. So desktop, workstation. What you also saw is it took a couple of seconds to rescale that image. So I'm not getting lines on the left or the right. It just rescales it based on the screen size that I'm actually presenting to the workstation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back out to full screen again. And again, as you can see here, I'm not sure if the camera can zoom in or whatever, but you can see show full screen on all monitors or show full screen on one monitor. So I'm selecting one monitor. If I had up to 4 monitors, I could scale out across 4 monitors. And we can deliver 4K up to 60 frames a second across 4 monitors. So let's just select one monitor. This again will take a couple of seconds just to send that information up to the workstation. Workstation re-renders the image and it will pop it back down here again. And there we go. So now let's look at some other factors we've got here. What we also recently implemented in the latest version is what we call health, connection health. What the connection health does is it gives me as the user the ability to understand what's going on with my connection. So from that perspective, if I look at it, I can now see that my connection is good. And if I get this demo right, we might see some bad coming up in a minute as well. We might see poor or even fair. I'm connected via Ethernet. We prefer Ethernet because we know Ethernet is stable. But Wi-Fi is fine. Then it's given me frame rate, how many frames are being delivered per second, what the bandwidth is. You can see right now it's less than a megabit per second. So from that perspective, because no pixels are changing, bandwidth consumption is very, very low. Packet loss. So again, because we use UDP to deliver the pixels, then packet loss is important because UDP is a fire and forget protocol, transport method, whereas TCP isn't. And that's also why VPNs can be sometimes a challenge for us. Latency, so that's the time it's taking from me to do a movement on my desk here up to the workstation, and from the workstation back down, rendered image on here. So if I'm moving the mouse, that is taking 38 milliseconds. And for me, with my grey hair and aging hands, I probably don't notice that. We're just seeing poor now, it's popped in there. What we're seeing is some packet loss, got back to good again. So if I was a user, I may now see that and understand why I might be seeing a little bit of delay. But latency, typically for most artists, they want to see less than 20 milliseconds. If your artists are using Wacom tablets, we've actually got some really clever technology that will actually overcome that latency issue. So we can use low latency devices in high latency environments. And the mode we're using, PC over IP mode, currently is CPU offload. So we're using the CPU at the workstation to do the encoding. We can offload that to the GPU on the NVIDIA and use NVIDIA's NVENC encoder. And I'll explain why we do that in a second. And I'll explain that through a YouTube video. So what we can do now is when we stream video, what we do is we look at that video content and we say, hang on, there's video being streamed here. What we want to do is we want to manage the bandwidth, because delivering 4K of ultra high definition video content will take a lot of bandwidth. So a lot of people don't have bandwidth, but with video playback, color accuracy may not be required if it's just playing it back. So what we can do is, and we'll leave the health check up because I think that's really important to see that. So let's just go to YouTube. I'm not going to take, don't blame me for any adverts you might see on here. Who knows what YouTube's going to throw up to me today. So we can just take a video. Let's just take this video here, 4K, real 4K, some birds singing. So here's an advert. We'll just let that go through that. We can see we've got a good connection. It's now flipped to poor. Now, interestingly, when we were running rehearsals this morning for this, it was good all the time. So obviously we're streaming this live, so there's going to be some impact on the network availability to me. So we'll just wait for this advert to run. Now, again, remember what you're seeing is going via being streamed, so you're not seeing what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing is actually as it's being delivered. Yours is being now taken out, probably being compressed by whatever medium you're logging into, and you're seeing already a compressed image because it will be using H.264 as a codec. What I'm seeing is pure HP Anyware. So this is the video. We're streaming 4K. We can see now that we're floating between 30. Now, what you saw there is it went to poor 30 frames a second. What we also do is we have the ability to look at the network and go, hang on, there's something wrong with the network. We may need to drop down the frame rate delivery because that allows us to then reduce the bandwidth. But now we've got back to good. We can see that bandwidth, 2 megabits a second. We've got a latency. We've now gone to GPU offload. So we've now offloaded to the GPU on the NVIDIA encoder. So that's video playback, playing back seamlessly there for me. What I'm also going to show you is just an application that runs. So if we just run up Blender. So this is Blender sitting in the background here. So a lot of people out there already know Blender. So I can now with Blender, I can zoom in and out if I want to. I'm not sure if you can see it on the old mouse, but as I'm doing the mouse, it's sort of going in and out. Let's get that back on the screen. So in and out, if I can just take this out of the way so I can actually use Blender, I can go to lines. I can scale right into the lines here if I want to. I can come right back out again. And that's Blender. Now, let's say, for example, I'm working on Blender, and actually now I want to get some collaboration. I want somebody else to come in and have a look at this. What I can do is I actually can do collaboration. I'm going to jump from this machine to do on this machine, actually jump to my own personal machine to show you that working. So if you bear with me 1 second, again, and what I'm going to prove here is this machine, as I said, was in Zurich. So I'm just going to disconnect from this. And I'm going to reconnect to a new machine. So let me connect to my workstation. Just going to put in my details. I might have got a typo there. No, so now, again, if I had multiple machines to connect to, I would be given multiple machines. I've just got one machine to connect to, so I'm just going to connect to this machine. So that first machine I connected to was in Zurich. That was a physical HP Z4. What I'm connected to now is another machine, running Blender again. It's almost as though I pre-prepared that. So same image. Here we go, just in and out. Now, what I want to do is I want somebody to join my call or my session to help me. Maybe it might be an editor, it might be another designer, it might be somebody just wanted to say, hey, what are you working on? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go into collaboration mode. And this, again, is a new feature. So what we do here is we just bring up collaboration. On my second screen here, which is on my laptop, I've just got Teams running. So I'm just, if you bear me a second, I'm just going to connect to a colleague who I've got who's based in the UK, who hopefully is on standby. I'm just going to generate a new invitation, copy the invitation, put it into Teams, and ask him to join me. So what he's going to do now, he's now now that invitation I could send via email, I could send by text, whichever way I want to send it. He's now presented with a link that he is now going to connect onto. Then what will happen is he'll then put in his invitation passcode. This may take a couple of seconds, so talk amongst yourselves. Now, what's interesting, this workstation I'm now connecting to actually isn't in Zurich. This one is actually in Dublin. So this is in a completely different part of the world. So let's just close that down. Just make sure he's online. What we can also see, and just to prove the point about Dublin, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up this little thing here, my location. This workstation that I'm working on is located in Dublin. Let's just see if he's connecting. He's now connecting now. The joys of Teams, even if you have had some problems with Teams this morning or Outlook, as Microsoft had a slight issue. So you can see my screen here, as I said. He will connect and I will get notification that he is connecting. And we can connect up to 5 users at any one time. So here we go. As you can see from the screen, Dion. So I know I sent it to Dion. He's put his name in there, which is great. I'm glad. He knows I was on a live demo. I do appreciate the fact he didn't put anything rude there. So now we're going to just accept his invitation or his invite. He's now connected. So when he connects by default, it just takes a couple of seconds for that connection to happen. When he connects by default, what actually happens, here we go. So I've got my little screen down here. So by default, he's set to can view only at this point. So he's now seeing what I'm doing on the screen. However, I may want to give him access and actually start working. So what I can now do is I can actually change this to he can now control. So now he's going to control my machine. What we've built into this is that the machine, or both ends, and between the collaborator and me, you can see his mouse moving. Look, hands-free. It's like magic. What actually happens is, and you can also see my mouse has now got a sort of no entry sign. I'm now not controlling it, so there's no conflict, confusion here. When he stops using his, hello, there we go. I'll say hello back. There we go. So what happens is if he stops moving his mouse for 3 seconds, and that can be defined, you might want to increase it to 5 seconds, whatever it may be, is when he stops moving it, I can then take control again. There we go. And he believes he's a comedian. So as you can see, I have now he's moving it, but as you can see, I can move my mouse, but it's still blanked out. So I can't do anything because he's moving it. He's now taking, as I said, hands-free, nothing up my sleeves. He's now in Blender. He's taking control of Blender. He's opening up the last session. I hope I didn't delete that. There we go. So complete control. By the way, he has no idea what to do with Blender, as you can see. To be fair, nor do I. But you can see he's now interacting it. So I think that's really important from a collaboration point of view. You know, and you'll hear a lot of talk, and we hear a lot of talk about hybrid working. You know, today, hybrid working, you know, we shouldn't lose collaboration because of hybrid working. To me, work is a what, not a where these days. It's, you know, it's what you do, it's what you achieve. It's not where you do it. Ultimately, these days, it's not even when you do it. And I'm conscious now, I think, so hopefully everybody's found that really useful. I'm going to stop the collaboration. I can stop it at any point. I'm going to stop it, kick him out. He's now gone. But that's really HP Anywhere. Connecting individual users from anywhere to a workstation anywhere and delivering an experience as though that workstation was physically under their desk. So thank you very much for your time. I hope you found that all useful. Anna.
Thank you so much, Andrew. That was really great and great demo. We do have some questions, and I believe it's kind of the same question. It's from Andre and Malte, both of them. Is drag and drop between your laptop and your remote machine and copy-paste sharing kind of same thing, right?
Okay, well, no. So that's actually a great question. And that actually leads quite nicely into a security question. So you cannot drag and drop from the remote workstation to the desktop because all we're sending is the pixels. What we do allow you to do is have the ability to copy and paste, but only text. So But again, that can be turned on or turned off. That can be bidirectional. So it could mean that I could copy text from a Word document I'm working on here and copy it into a Word document on the remote workstation. I can do that. Or I could do it the other way around. We can completely turn off that functionality, so you can't do that at all. Or you can have it omnidirectional. So you could say you're allowed to copy from the workstation to here, or you can copy only from here to the workstation. Again, it's around security. What we can do is you can actually map. So if I had a USB drive, I could plug that into my laptop and map it to the remote workstation to copy files over. We're not ultimately a file transfer protocol. And again, from a security point of view, the businesses can limit that to the PID of the USB device. So you can actually say, only use this USB
Only
device.
that one.
Yeah.
Great. And another question. PC Anywhere as in software. Can the remote workstation run Mac OS?
Yes, it can.
Not swearing in the church.
I mean, come on, let's not insult everybody in the room.
No.
That's behind us, all going. Yes, absolutely. From a host point of view, we support both host and client on Mac OS.
Sorry?
We support both the host and the client for Mac OS.
Okay.
Absolutely.
We're friendly. We're friends of all. Super. Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot, Andre. It was
Thank you very
really,
much.
really great. And now let's move over to the next item in the agenda, which will be around displays and how we equip offices. And let's be super productive. Over to Louise.